As a child, I have had some really great books. I'd love to hear what books you've had. What was your favourite child's book? My very favourite one was Where the Wild Things Are. There was some error message came up then, but I think we're still going. Where the Wild Things Are, and where Max goes off on his boat, his bedroom turns into a jungle, and he goes off and conquers the wild thing, becomes king of the wild things, and has amazing parties. That was my favourite book as a child, partially because some of my favourite people introduced that to me. My uncle Bill and Auntie Sue. And they read it to me as a child. That was the only child's book they had at the time when I was little. But What on Earth Are We Doing is a book that I've also had since I was a child, and it was written in the 70s at some point, I think. And it's really outdated, even though the fundamentals of it are still accurate. It's all about conservation, all about, how we as humans have been damaging the earth and what we can do about it. And the advice at the very end in terms of what we can do was to join voluntary societies, work to improving the environment, take part in anti-litter campaigns, write to local councils to stop the verges being unnecessarily sprayed with weed killers, feel indignant if we see polluted rivers and beaches or cigarette packets, plastic bags, bottles and containers thrown carelessly by the roadside, and wonder if many of the manufactured goods are really necessary for a happy life. Don't be persuaded by advertisements that we need things. Use up what we have. And this is how we can make sure that the world remains a beautiful, varied and worthwhile place to live in that will support human life. Now, that's a message in this book written in the 70s. And, for a long time when I was a child, the people who were into that kind of conservation, who thought that was important, who were volunteering and taking part in, World Wildlife Fund stuff and all of those things, those people who were vegetarian, who were eating, buying food from the health food shop, fair trade, organic stuff, those people were the crusty people, the strange people, the people who were a little bit weird. But now it's become more normal. Many more of us want to be eco-friendly, and we might struggle to know where to start. And that's what Eco Wins Week is all about. Eco Wins Week is about, rather than in this book, this sort of feeling, you must feel indignant. Yeah, you can feel indignant, you can feel angry, but I think it's much more enjoyable to feel positive and look forward with positivity and hope. And that's what Eco Wins Week is about, is to look forward with positivity and hope, and with an aim to really create a movement for change that is easy and pleasurable, that we can all take part in. So Eco Wins Week is a week of sharing. It's a week for you to come, join it, come into the free Facebook group that I run, which is the Create Your Happy Eco Home Facebook group. Join that, get involved, share your eco wins, and the idea is that by sharing what we have done that we have found easy and pleasurable and effective in being eco-friendly, that then can inspire other people who are looking to make more changes, looking to be more eco-friendly, and want to do that in ways that are also easy and pleasurable. So you can inspire others to also adopt some of the tweaks and adjustments that you've made in your life. And you can also see what other people have done, learn from their shared experience and be inspired yourself in return, and then to celebrate all those wins that we've made. That's what Eco Wins Week is all about. It's about sharing, inspiring, being inspired, and celebrating. And joining in, joining in and taking part. So I would love you to do that. So what on earth are we doing? We are joining in, sharing, inspiring, being inspired, and celebrating. That's what I think we need to do, and that's how we can improve the world. And I thought maybe it would be of interest for you to, if I was to tell you some of my eco wins. And I've recently got involved in a project called Jump, which is very similar to the Eco Wins side of things. There are so many people working in this field, and you know, there's Extinction Rebellion from the more extreme activist kind of side, and then there's you know what I'm doing with Eco Wins Week, and there's Jump and Sustainable-ish and many other people. There's Shel Bisley on YouTube. There are many people who are putting themselves out there, talking about new different ways to improve the world, protect the planet, ensure a sustainable future for all of us, and in ways that are easy and pleasurable as well. And that's what I am hoping to do, to help you to do. And one of the things that I have done, and what was interesting about Jump is that is based on a lot of very scientific evidence that has come up from latest climate change reports. And there are 6 areas where as individuals we can create the most positive change. About 25% of the action that we can take as individuals, making personal choices, more eco-friendly choices as individuals. In that way we can create 25% of the necessary impact to prevent a global warming of no more than 1.5 degrees. That is based on, but the 75%, that is bigger than what we individually can do. That is something that is going to need to be done by governments and by big business, and that change is something that we can advocate for. We can contact our MPs, and we can take part in more political and bigger financial actions to create that sort of change. So there are things that we can do as individuals to help move that change along, but so that sort of stuff is not stuff that as a single person you can make a huge change about. We need to just put pressure on governments and big business to make that change, to make that 75% change. But there is 25%, which is not insignificant. That 25% is down to individual action, what we can do on our own, in our own lives, to make that change. And this change that we can make can be easy and it can be pleasurable. So one of the big areas of our lives where we can make impactful change is with our clothes. The fashion industry is hugely damaging to the planet. It's very destructive. It's very wasteful. You probably know this already. Fast fashion is not a good thing. Lots of toxins that are used, you know, and then there's all the personal kind of labour struggles, you know, all the things that are from a social perspective are not good as well. But from those many different perspectives, economically, socially, environmentally, the fashion industry is hugely damaging. Now, what I have done personally has been very easy for me. It's been very enjoyable for me, and I am very happy with the way that I approach my clothing. And what I do basically is I don't buy anything new except for underwear, underwear and socks. That's basically what I buy new. So bras, knickers and socks I buy new, and everything else I buy pre-loved. But most of those clothes I buy haven't really been worn by anybody else either, because I buy through charity shops. And one of the easiest ways that I have found to buy through charity shops is buying online using Oxfam Online. Oxfam Online is very similar to buying through a ASOS or other fast fashion online things. So what you can do is you can filter by size, by colour, by product type, and it will come up with lots of things that you want. You can also filter by condition, so you can filter brand new with tags, so it's not been worn by anybody else. It might be pre-loved, but it's not been worn by anyone else. Somebody else has bought it, or it's been donated directly from the shop because nobody has bought it from the shop, so it's surplus. Or you can buy used, excellent, like new condition. You can buy used, very good condition, and you can select the condition of what it is you want to buy as well. So using Oxfam Online, you can purchase clothes that are like new or as good as new, or are actually new, but you are basically saving them from landfill, from being wasted, and you are not contributing to fast fashion. You are not in that mill of fast fashion, and so you can really minimize your negative impact on the environment by buying your clothes in that way. Of course, you can go to charity shops, you can go to vintage clothes shops, consignment stores, you can buy your clothes pre-loved in many different ways, but one very easy way that is a very simple change and is not a huge change from buying online is to use Oxfam Online. It may be that there are other charities that do also sell online. That's the one I'm most familiar with. And then because I buy my underwear brand new, what I do with that is I buy from very ethical shops, and I also get them made to measure, so that then they fit me perfectly. They are absolutely right for me, and they are using much more ethical, sustainable materials. They are being made by people who are being paid a living wage, and they are typically I buy them from UK-based companies, so they're relatively local to me, so they don't have all the energy that's gone into the transport of those as well. So what that means is that I have a wardrobe that I enjoy. I take an eco-minimalist approach to it, so I've actually gone through and I have pretty much a capsule wardrobe. I have a wardrobe of clothes that I know I can open up my cupboard or open up my drawer, everything in there fits. It's so simple and easy to get dressed in the morning, because I can just pick out anything that from there that will all fit. It all is comfortable. All of the colours are within a colour palette, so they all go together. All the separates work together. I have a lot of dresses as well, because I like dresses. I wouldn't say I have a lot, maybe I have about 10, something like that. But in terms of quantity, you don't need tons and tons of quantity of clothes. You really need to, when you open your wardrobe and there's so many clothes, but it feels like there's nothing to wear, and that's because there's lots of things that you don't really like, or they're not in really good condition, so for that reason you don't like them, or they don't fit you anymore. Maybe you like me, you change sizes. So what I did was I went through my wardrobe and I pulled out everything that didn't fit. Well, actually I did it the other way. I went through my wardrobe and pulled out everything that I liked. Everything that I really wanted, was comfortable wearing, everything that was in good condition, everything that I liked. and I pulled all of that out and kept it to one side, and then I vacuum bagged everything else up and got it all out of my wardrobe, and then I put back in all those things that I knew I enjoyed wearing, I knew I felt good in, I knew I looked good in, and I could wear with comfort, with ease. And that just made my mornings so much easier, because I could then get dressed quickly, easily, that I didn't need to spend a lot of time making decisions, because I knew everything. I could just reach in, grab anything and go, and it was done. So that was my approach to sorting out what I had. And then whenever I then do buy anything new, I first of all look through some of those bagged up clothes. I kind of shop my closet, as in shopping the stuff that I'd kind of just taken out. And so sometimes then I'll go through those bags and slowly, since I did this about 7 years ago when I was pregnant, and so I've been gradually, obviously, losing the baby weight, still gradually losing the baby weight, and then finding bits of clothes that I can fit back into, like the jeans that I'm wearing today. I can fit back into these, and putting those back into my wardrobe. So instead of having to go out and buy anything new at all, I've been able to sort of shop my closet, get things that still fit. And then anything that's no longer fitting me, or I've worn it out, I can donate those. They can be sold. So you can donate clothes that are really more fabric remnants. Sometimes I use them for crafts and sewing projects, but sometimes I donate them to charity shops where they bag up fabric and sell the fabric by weight, because they can get money for that too. So even if they can't sell the garment as an item of clothing to someone because it's not in good enough condition, the charity can still make money from your discarded clothes. So that's a really good way of dealing with it. And then I've sorry, I've been distracted because I've noticed somebody's messaged me. Once then you've got that clear wardrobe, and then you can start to purchase selectively, but purchase pre-loved for your main clothes. And then obviously if your underwear, your socks, and things that are closest to your body and more personal, intimate places, then there are some amazing small companies where they make clothes that fit you, and they use more ethical materials like unbleached cottons, bamboos, and also supporting local designers. So there's some beautiful fabrics where the prints have been designed by artists and designers, which are also really beautiful. It's nice to be able to support those really creative and small businesses as well. So that is one of the wins that I have had. That's a big eco win. It's a huge impact in terms of the environment, much reduced impact on the environment, and you can do it too. It's very, very easy for you to do that. So I highly recommend it for ease and pleasure, and I look forward to you taking part in the Eco Wins Week and coming and sharing your wins. Have you done something similar with your clothes? What have you done? Is it a bit different to mine? Have you got a place that you go to get your pre-loved clothes? I would love to hear about it. I'd love to improve. There's always room for improvement. I'd love to find out new ways that I can update my wardrobe in ways that are ethical and responsible to the environment. And if you'd like to do that too, then come along and join in. Hope to see you then. Bye for now.